Hey guys, what is up? Steven here to do another film breakdown. Before I get started on this breakdown, I want to give a shout out to my guy Quest Designs. He just designed some stickers for us. Look great on a water bottle. Look great on a laptop. Give him a shout out. Give him a look on, and you can go use the code Guilty10 for 10% off his site. Of course, you can purchase our stickers. You can purchase other stickers. Get some great stuff on there. Highly recommend. Check it out. The link is in our bio. So, that being said, I'm here to break down my natural element back to the offensive line this week. I'll be mixing it up but from time to time, but primarily want to focus this exercise on the offensive line. So, really excited about this. Going to talk about some of the Chargers' run blocking issues and things that they have done well in that format, as well as highlight some things that happen in the passing game, specifically like Storm Norton against Chris Jones, as well as Rashawn Slater, who I think really should be leading the Rookie of the Year charge, but that's another topic for another day. Bottom line is Rashawn Slater is handling his business, playing fantastic, and I am very excited about this breakdown to get it to you guys. And that being said, let's dive in. Let me switch the view here. Whoops, there we go. All right. So I know that there have been a lot of things, a lot of takes made about the Chargers running attack. And I understand those concerns, particularly with Larry Roundtree and Justin Jackson. It has not looked pretty. But I think the Chargers are really on the brink of figuring out what kind of running team they want to be. And primarily because they have four really good run blocking offensive linemen. They have some really good run blocking tight ends as well. Really, they just need to get some more serviceable play out of their right tackle, Storm Norton, or once Brian Blogger comes back, I think it will improve. But they are really close to figuring out. And I know that some people have said, like, oh, this is a season long problem. A lot of run blocking comes from repetitions. It comes from knowing, when to come off a double team because I trust my guy to my left or right that he's going to take over. So a lot of it is timing. A lot of it is repetitions. And so I think that aspect of it will improve. But specifically, the Chargers have a left side that is blocking their ass off right now in Matt Filer and Rashawn Slater. Now, Matt Filer is getting the kind of grades from Pro Football Focus that I think merit, his play lines up with the grade. Rashawn Slater had a great week 3 run blocking grade, and I think that lines up as well. However, his season long grade is not that great. It is a very good grade, but I think it deserves to be better. So, that being said, I'm going to specifically highlight these two on various plays throughout this film session, but wanted to get that out of the way. Matt Filer arguably has been the most valuable free agent transaction in the league, in my opinion, because he really is putting out some truly high level guard play and film. And to get him for basically 3 years, $7 million per year, like that's a bargain, man. Like he deserves an extension right now. Really excited about where he's going. So that being said, let's dive into this film. So as I said, this is going to be a run. This is going to be a run blocking play. This is the first red zone trip where they are going to hand the ball off to Austin Eckler. And so essentially right here, as you'll see, you get two double teams, one with Corey Lindsey and Matt Filer, one with Ode Abuji and Storm Norton. And essentially what you're trying to do is, what I teach my 7th graders is that this is called a scoop block. You can call it a double team block, but essentially you are taking two guys to block one off the ball. And then once you're able to feel confident in your partner in crime, if you want to call it that, in taking over the defensive lineman, the other guy is going to take the linebackers. So essentially you have these 3 linebackers here. And between your guards, Matt Filer and Ode Abushi, and then Steven Anderson, you're hoping that they are able to kind of, take these 7 blockers, and block the 7 Chiefs. Doesn't end up like that, but they do get a positive gain. So let me run through it really quickly. I'll go live or not live, full play, and then we'll go on from there. Um, so it ends up being about a gain of 4 or 5, and the Chargers do go tempo on this play. This is the play right before Justin Herbert's jump pass, which is just freaking outstanding. But like I said, I wanted to highlight specifically Matt Filer on this play because what he does here is really fantastic. He gives Corey Linsley just enough of a shove right there, and then he's actually going to take this linebacker and completely take him out of the play as a guard, because I played center and guard mostly when I was in high school and my first year of college. Him being able to take on this linebacker and then completely turn his hips this way and take this linebacker out of the picture essentially is so good. It is so high level play, such a high level play, excuse me, by Matt Filer. And it ends up, like I said, it ends up being a good gain, 3-4 yards. Obviously you want to take it, more than that. The issue, if you will, comes from Steven Anderson in this play, who's lined up as the fullback, and Storm Norton. Storm Norton doesn't do a good enough job taking over this double team from Ode Ibushi. He actually pushes Ode Ibushi out of the way and onto the ground. And then Steven Anderson kind of gets clogged up a little bit behind Rashawn Slater. So ideally, I mean, it gets the job done. You give Austin Eckler just a little bit of a crease to the left if he wants that. I think, he was kind of anticipating O'Day to be able to kind of help Corey Linsley out with number 56. So it ends up being a fine game. But when you have this kind of alley created by your left side, in this instance, Steven Anderson, Rashawn Slater, and Matt Filer, that's what you're hoping for. So this is why I think, and we'll continue to go through some of things, but I think this play in particular, you just are looking at a duo between Norton and Ode Ibushi, who just have not played much together. They have not gotten many reps together at all. Whereas on the left side, you have Slater and Filer, who have all of OTAs, all of training camp, and the first 3 games playing next to each other. So there's just a little more continuity on the left side. And I think this will ultimately get cleaned up. But overall, a fantastic job specifically by Slater, Filer, and Corey Linsley. All right, next play here. So I have 9 plays. This is the second play. Another run play where I wanted to highlight, a few people because this is a really good play. And again, just needs a little bit fine tuning here and there. But the Chargers did this a couple times where they actually had Gabe Neighbors kind of do a delayed counter, which I think is super interesting. But essentially, you're going to have the same kind of concept, right? This time, you're going to have Filer and Slater executing, a scoop block, and then you're going to have Linsley and Ibushi take on the other side. And I think they do a really fantastic job of getting to the second level and making this a workable play, right? Like you look at this kind of concept again, Storm Norton, like you got to figure it out a little bit more, but you got a hat on a hat with Ibushi and Chris Jones, Corey Linsley and number 90, who I forget. And then Matt Filer and Rashawn Slater have executed that scoop block perfectly. They're going to, do a good job on whoever this defensive end is and Nick Bolton. And then ideally you get Gabe Neighbors on number 97. I'm not sure what Josh Palmer is doing here. I appreciate the effort, but I'm not sure what you're doing. So ideally you get Neighbors, just enough to, take that defensive end out of the way. And, I think this is a good design, good execution. And, this is a play that ends up being, a minor gain. Oh, did I go back too far? I'm sorry. I went back too far. My bad. A little bit annoying to do it on the StreamYard thing, but it's all good. So this ended up being a minor gain, but I think this is showing me enough positive things where I think that they'll be able to figure it out. But again, you have Filer, who this is really, really smart. He delays just a smidge so that Slater has like full confidence. Like this is the communication that I'm talking about, like the repetitions, chemistry that you have together is so important. And it looks to me on film that Filer and Slater have an awesome connection. They have a great rapport, great chemistry. And, that duo is, they're flying high right now. And this is a great play, again, by Matt Filer to really kind of spearhead this. All right, third play of 9. Already at 10 minutes. Let's freaking go. All right, this is a pass blocking play. This catch from Keenan Allen is just absurd, man. And yeah, tell him, Keenan, tell him. But I wanted to go back here because this shows me, a few things that the Chargers were doing to help, set up some potential deep shots as well as help out Storm Norton. So the Chiefs are showing a 5-man front here with 56 on the line of scrimmage. And we all know that the Chiefs under Steve Spagnuolo have the tendency to blitz a lot. So the Chargers did run max protection with Trey Pipkins, with Donald Parham, with Jared Cook, with Steven Anderson. They did a max protection with at least 6 or 7 blockers various times throughout the game. On this specific play, though, it ends up being kind of a mute point. The Chiefs end up dropping in zone, which I think Herbert realizes pretty quickly. But I wanted to talk about specifically, the tackles here because you have Rashawn Slater on an island. Like you see all the other guys, they're all sliding to the right to help out the right side. But Rashawn Slater is chilling, man. Like he's handling his business on the island. This is what a franchise left tackle is meant to be. And, we'll go through it a little bit from here. But this is just a really good play. You've got the 2 guards in the center handling those two. And then look at Storm Norton, man. Like Storm Norton never detaches from Chris Jones. And for the most part, I thought Norton played really, really well against Chris Jones. Again, like I said, run blocking needs some work. But, I saw a bunch of people worried about Storm Norton against Chris Jones. And I thought Norton pretty much held his own in this one. Well, if you pay attention right here, this round to the right tackle, he's never going to come detached from Chris Jones. Like that is like he has help for sure. Like he can be aggressive because he does like to jump set, but he never comes detached. Like it's truly, a good play. And then, Lindsley and Ibushi and Filer just, chilling, handling their business, as is Rashawn Slater. And okay, let's go back one more time because I want to watch Rashawn Slater here, is just so good, you guys. So good. Like, oh my gosh, he's amazing. I love it so much. But look at 97. Like, first of all, he's going to try this long arm. He's going to try and dip and rip. No dice. No dice. Rashawn Slater said, no. You're not touching my guy. So I love how Francisco and them, the Spanish announcers, they call him El Washing Machine because he keeps Herbert clean. I love that so much. Anyways, go check them out on the Chargers Podcast Network. Selfish plug for them today. All right, next play here. Already have 13 minutes. It is what it is. You guys love it. I love it. It's all good. I want to talk about Rashawn Slater on this specific play, as well as kind of talk about why this play failed. Because it is a tackle for loss, which is generally not great. But let's watch Rashawn Slater here first and foremost. So he's got Jared Cook to his left, Matt Filer to his right, and he's going to take 97 right here for a ride, and he's going to end up getting 97 on the ground, which is fantastic to watch. I love to see it. He gets a little bit of a help from Matt Filer, and then he says, bye-bye, you're on the ground. So again, so good on Sunday. He's a fantastic player. All right, so let's talk about why this play failed. This is a really difficult block for Ode Abuji to make. This is essentially a stretch play, and Anthony Hitchens, who has his limitations for sure, he's going to read this and snuff it out in an instant, and he's going to fly to the ball. So this play is designed for Ode Abuji, essentially what you want to see, like if you go up the line, like where Rashawn Slater is, like you want Ode Abuji to take that angle, like a hard 45-degree angle to the opposite like essentially to the opposite side of the offensive line. And hopefully you get Anthony Hitchens and you're able to make this run play work. That's a tough ask for anybody. And, this is definitely something to keep in mind for draft purposes for the future. Like if you think that the Chargers are going to draft somebody like Deontay Brown, you are mistaken, because they ask their guards and their centers to get to the second level all the freaking time. And you have to be able to make this cutoff block, or at least in theory, be able to do it. So this is a really tough block. I'm not sure, if a different linebacker reads this incorrectly, like you probably make this block. This is just a really good play from Anthony Hitchens. but I did want to point it out, A, because of Rashawn Slater, and B, because like you see Anthony Hitchens right away is going to make this play. And so Abuji trips a little bit. If he hadn't, maybe he gets there in time, because if he does, this is play is going to be a successful play. Like you look at the way this is blocked up, you look at Slater handling his business, Jared Cook is blocking well. Corey Lindsley is right there. So if Ibuji had not tripped and he had been able to get on his horse and get there, this is a successful play. So one of the few plays where I felt like the Chargers offensive line didn't really do their jobs effectively, if you will. But Ibuji mostly played very, very well on Sunday, and he's been a very solid addition. He has been what we expected him to be. But I just wanted to point that one out. Okay, next play here, another pass play, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is this the... Nope, this is a different play. Okay, so the next one I think is the Herbert to Guyton pass, which I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I mentioned that I wanted to say how this team was going to help out Storm Norton, and one of the ways that they did it on Sunday was with Gabe Neighbors. Gabe Neighbors is going to come in motion here, and he's just going to threaten number 51 just with his presence. Like he's going to make sure that 51 knows, hey, like you're not going to turn the corner. And there was a play earlier in this game where he actually did a really job chipping on Chris Jones, released, had a catch that it went to him for like 8 yards, and it was fantastic. It was a great play from Gabe Neighbors. But Norton, like he does need this help against 51, who I think is Mike Dana, I don't know. But that's a really good recovery from Storm Norton. You know, ideally when you have the chip, you want to be able to turn him and keep turning him outside and kind of keep him from coming back inside. Like that is your goal when you have a chip like this. But other than that, man, like this is blocked up very, very well. Ode Abuji, is doing his job with 98. Rashawn Slater, again, fantastic. This is the whole game for Slater, you guys. Like, this was it. Like, I know he gave up one pressure, according to PFF. I didn't see it. I saw a bunch of this. I saw a bunch of him being on an island and just owning fools. So, just a really good blocked up play that, I guess if you're going to nitpick, you could say Matt Filer. Like, I wish you would go out and help somebody just to go make your presence felt a little bit more. But when you get this kind of pocket and this kind of time, yes, Justin Herbert has to step up, but this is a really, really well blocked play. And the thing that I wanted to talk about specifically here is Justin Herbert, because I think we're seeing him continue to grow and impress with his eyes as well as his brain and be able to process information. And if you watch his eyes here first, like he's going right downfield, I believe, to Keenan Allen on this instance. And so he has two receivers to his left, and then Austin Eckler he's going to take the fake, and then he's going to leak out. And Justin Herbert is really doing a good job here. So he steps up, his eyes are still downfield, and then he's able to come off of the two downfield and throw it to Austin Eckler. Now, it's a 5-6 yard gain, but that is some serious progress from Justin Herbert in being able to make that read, step up in the pocket, handle pressure. He's so poised and be able to make that throw on the money to Austin Eckler. And sometimes playing the quarterback position is just about, taking those easy plays, easy gains, and living to fight another day. And I think he has done a really good job so far this year. All right, I think this is the Guyton play. Yeah, this is the Guyton play. Yeah. Look at that pocket, you guys. Okay. So I know that Jalen Guyton ends up dropping this. This is a really tough catch. I know everybody gave Jalen Guyton a lot of shit on Sunday for dropping this, but that's a tough catch, man. Like, you're backpedaling. You got Dan Sorensen, one of the dirtier players in the NFL, breathing down your neck. That's a tough catch. I know everybody was like, Tyrone would have caught it. I don't think so. I think Mike Williams probably could have caught that, but yeah, I don't think Tyron would have caught this either, you guys. I really don't. But I wanted to talk about this play, of course, because Justin Herbert is insane. Like, this is a crazy freaking play by him. But look at this pocket that gets created. Again, a little chip by Jared Cook to help out Storm Norton. Does a fantastic job. You got Matt Filer, who's handling his business, Rashawn Slater handling his business. Corey Linsley is sliding to the right to take over this stunt, which again is a problem, an issue that the previous offensive line really struggled with, because you look at number 98, he's trying to take Ode Ibushi with him. This could have been defensive holding. Like if you look at his jersey, look at Ode Ibushi's jersey, like that could have been defensive holding. So they do a good job. Corey Lindsey does a fantastic job getting over there. And look at this pocket. Like this is like 7 seconds long that Justin Herbert has in the pocket. And then he's going to get out and be like, all right, I'm just going to show off my cannon of an arm and put it right on the money. Again, I don't think Tyron Johnson would have caught that. Jalen Kighton obviously didn't catch that. So I think we need to give Jalen Kighton cut him a little slack. But 7 seconds in the pocket, you guys. Like, when was the last time you saw that happen? All right, next play here. We're almost done. I think we've got, we got 3 more plays. 3 more plays. All right, so this isn't another run play. This is actually a really productive run play. I think this goes for 9 yards, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go through it. I'll go through full one more time. Okay, so this is a little bit of an inside zone run. You get Austin Eckler kind of in space, which I think is a fantastic idea. I think this is kind of what you want to see the Chargers offensive game plan, or at least rushing attack, kind of revolve around these kind of runs, because it utilizes the athleticism both of Justin Herbert and the offensive line. And it gives the running backs space to try and like figure out where's the lane, where's the cutback. It gives them time and patience to be able to figure out where they want to go. All right, let's go back though and dissect this play. All right, so Rashawn Slater, again, as usual, him and actually, now I remember why I wanted to talk about this play. This play is about Matt Filer and Corey Linsley. Okay. All right, so Corey Linsley and Matt Filer, they're going to take over. They're going to do a double team, again, another scoop block on a 4-eye technique, which I believe is Chris Jones. Is it Chris Jones? Yeah. So this is Chris Jones. So very tough opponent, very tough block. And then look at this space that they're able to carve out. And look at Ode Ibushi helping out Corey Linsley here, getting the linebacker. And then Linsley still gets another linebacker. It's such a fantastically, is that a word? Hello. It's such a well-blocked play by this Chargers team, by this Chargers offensive line. And really, like, this is a very high-level play by Ode Ibushi, helping out Corey Linsley. Look at Rashawn Slater handling his business. Anytime you can get that kind of space, that kind of alley, you've won as an offensive line. Like, that's the dream, right? Like I talked about this last week, the opposite way with the Cowboys. Like anytime that you can get that kind of alley, you win as an offensive line. And you're just hoping at this point that Austin Eckler is able to make Dan Sorensen miss. I know that Chris Jones is technically involved in the play, but I don't care. This is a massive win for the Chargers offensive line on this play. All right, so this is one of the last plays I don't want to talk about. This is a pass play. I know it ends up as an incompletion. Fantastic job by Justin Herbert, escaping pressure and even making this a semi, giving Keenan Allen even a chance at all. So this was Corey Linsley's worst rep of the day. Going to get that out of the way now. It was not a great job, but what I wanted to talk about here specifically are the 2 tackles for the Chargers. You have Rashawn Slater, of course, Storm Norton on the other side. Let's watch Norton first, who's going to take a jump set and handle Chris Jones's bull rush really, really well. Like, you want to talk about an anchor. You want to talk about, really handling a tough assignment, because Jones gets under his collarbone right here. Like, this is a tough ask of any offensive lineman, but Norton handles it well, man. Like, look at this anchor down. And that's just a really good job for somebody who was not really expected to do much. And again, Corey Linsley's worst rep of the day. I think this was the only pressure that he gave up that I would have charted. I think PFF gave him 2, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, not a great play by Corey Linsley. Okay, let's get to Rashawn Slater. Went back too far. That's my bad. Still went too far. I went really far. Okay. All right. Now we can get to Rashawn Slater again. My bad. Who he is also going to jump sent. And one of the things that I love about Rashawn Slater, and one of the things that I loved about him coming out of the draft, is he is so multiple in ways that he wins. So right now you see his right hand is free. His right hand is off to the side. He's going to make contact strictly with his left hand here. And you do this to make sure that your defensive pass rusher does not have an easy way to chop both of your arms down and then kind of rip past you, right? So that's the reason why. And so he makes contact with his left hand. Once he figures out the plan of this defensive end, he's going to bring that other hand into place. And vice grips, man. Like this, I'm telling you guys, this is the entire game. Like he does not give up. Again, I didn't see a pressure. I did not. I watched the entire game twice. I watched the film. Like I did not see Rashawn Slater give up a pressure. And he was just fantastic all freaking game long. We are so lucky to have him. I'm seeing fans of other teams who have shitty offensive lines be like, we should have drafted Rashawn Slater. Yeah, you should have, but thank God you didn't because he ended up in our lap. All right, let's get this finished with the last play of the game. I mentioned Corey Linsley's worst play of the day. Now I'm going to mention his best play of the day to wrap it up. And if you look at this crosswind, you guys, like it was no joke. Okay, this is going to be a run play. This is the last drive of the game. Look at Corey freaking Linsley take this man for a ride at the point of attack. You truly love to see it. Dan Feeney never did this, you guys. I'm telling you right now. So when you have a nose guard on top of you like this, I think this is Derek Nandi, who I think outweighs Corey Linsley by quite a bit and probably is taller and longer. So this is just, he gets a little bit of a help from his buddy Matt Filer. But look at him finish this play, you guys. Getting Derek Nandi on the ground. Had to give him a shout out. That being said, let's dissect this play a little bit more. So again, this is kind of, I think this is duo. This might be inside zone, but it is an RPO look, which I really like to see because you see Jared Cook coming across. So Justin Herbert in the future could keep this. He could run with it. He could pass it to Jared Cook. But look at the way this is blocked up by this Chargers offensive line. Again, you have Storm Norton against Chris Jones on the outside. And he does really well. Like it's a little bit unorthodox. Actually, he did not do really well. I was kidding, or not kidding. I was wrong. But you look at Ode Abuji, like he gets up to the second level really well. Matt Filer gets up to the second level. Corey Linsley handles his business. So really the only issue here in terms of offensive line play is Storm Norton, which, is unfortunate, but had to give Corey Linsley a shout out. So I only plan to do 20 minutes of this breakdown, but of course it ends up going 28. I just love talking about like my big hogs, man. Love my hogs. So hopefully you're able to learn. Hopefully we are all really taking the time to cherish this Chargers offensive line and treat them in the manner that they deserve. Because I personally cannot remember the last time that we had an offensive line like this. It really has been that long since Nick Hardwick was in his prime, which has been a while. So ultimately, I think everybody should have confidence in the offensive line this particular week against the Raiders. The Raiders are tougher against the run than the Kansas City Chiefs. But to me, I think the Chargers offense is just a little tweaking here and there from figuring out what they want to do in the rushing attack. Either way, they're going to handle their business in the passing game. I know everybody's kind of worried about Max Crosby this week, and I am too a little bit about Storm Norton, mostly just from a consistency standpoint, trying to figure out which version of Storm we get. If he is the version from this past week, Chargers are going to be fine. I don't have an issue there. So Max Crosby, he does not bring a super versatile repertoire to the table. However, he brings a more versatile repertoire to the table than Chris Jones does. So it is going to be interesting to see. The Chargers are going to help him out with Gabe Neighbors, tight end chips, max protect situations. So I think they learned their lesson from week 2. I think they're doing a much better job helping him out. And I can't wait to see you guys. This is going to be a good game. Again, shout out to my guy Quest Designs for the stickers. Check him out. Again, that'll be in the bio. As you can see on the bottom, support our sponsors, TickPick, Manscaped, Quest, Backroom Collection as well, and Chicky Wings and Sports. By the time you see this, it is going to be Thursday, so go check them out. Go watch Thursday Night Football with your friends at that place. The discount code is going to be in the description as well. As always, leave a like, a comment, a subscribe. I know this is going to be a big week for us Chargers fans, and I can't wait to see you, man. Bolt up.